6,700 pounds basically on the nose. The Catalina 293 QB here at Haylet RV of Coldwater, Michigan. This gives us a private rear bunk room with a cool little L-shaped bunkhouse that is kind of sneaky in that it's sort of a quad bunk that can potentially sleep 5. Gives us private sleeping quarters, front and rear, super slide, outside camp kitchen, and considering the size of this RV, 6,700 pounds, not too bad. When the slide is closed and you're either in storage or in transit, you can get through the front bedroom, you can sit down, you could prepare a little meal, you could stop and have a break, but you are not able to access the bedroom or the rear bunkhouse, so plan accordingly. The good news when you get to your destination, this thing's awesome. First of all, it's 6'9" inside instead of 6'6". There's a lot of other trailers that are 6'9". This is not an exclusive quality, but it is not a standard industry quality, maybe 50-50. So I still want to point that out because it means that a tall goober like me could still stand in the shower if need be. Plus, the taller ceiling, the big windows, and the very light color palette that we see here on all these beautiful wood tones, they give this thing a much larger look and feel. So it's not so dark and oppressive. It's open, it's airy, it's welcoming. Now, obviously, you can see that big super slide there, giving us all kinds of rainy day family space. One of the things that's a little less apparent at a glance is that is an upgraded sofa. The standard would be a jackknife kind of bifold sofa. We like to outfit our legacy Catalinas with a trifold sleeper sofa because it gives us RV some really good adult sleeping space. That in conjunction with the big U-dinette in sleeper mode, which we'll see later, and the way that this bunkhouse is arranged is one of my favorite aspects of this RV because it makes it awesome for not just adult guests, but how many of you have kids that are my size? You have kids that are going to be really big, really tall. Even if they're not now, even if you can tell they're going to be really big and tall, this floor plan is awesome for not needing to swap out in 2 or 3 years. If you want to make sure you only need to ever buy one family camper that you can use and will hold up while the kids are growing up and bouncing around in this thing, and then you can swap it out for the couple's camper of your choice. This floor plan and this brand are both excellent examples of an RV that would work very well for you. Now, just like we upgraded that trifold sleeper sofa, we have also upgraded this refrigerator to a larger 10.7 cubic foot fridge freezer. This is a 12 volt DC compressor model. It only draws 3 amps. So what that means is if you have a little portable solar panel, you could run this thing indefinitely. It runs going down the road, and it's well, let's see. These normally had a 7 cubic foot refrigerator freezer. That would be the normal gas electric 7 cubic foot fridge freezer. Or you could upgrade to the 10.7 cubic foot 12 volt fridge like we're looking at here. Something else that's a little less obvious, though, is the fact that you can also upgrade this to a larger 15,000 BTU air conditioner, which is another thing that we tend to do a lot here at Haylet RV of Coldwater, Michigan, to really maximize your cooling power. Now, while we're looking up here, something I like to point out on Catalinas, if you notice, the lights are kind of oddly positioned, and it's completely by intention. They're very good at providing you the lights you need where you need them. They don't just put 3 lights down the middle and hope it's good enough. They actually put lights in, and then they turn the lights on, and they close everything outside. And I got a little spider dangling from the roof here. Sorry, buddy, but your days are about to be numbered. As soon as we're done recording this, you better not be there, because I'm going to get you. But back to the point. You always have good visibility in here, but you also can just control these lights individually. Now, I'm about to flash some lights, so if you're a little susceptible to that, please, or sensitive rather, please look away maybe, or prepare yourself. But you can see how all of our ceiling lights are on just one switch, which is really nice considering the RV is a little bit taller than some. Now, one thing I really want to zero in on here, it's not uncommon anymore for RVs to have sealed edge kitchen counters. What is still less common is to have those same upgraded, better countertops through the entire RV. But that's something that Coachmen and Catalina have been doing, I think, for longer than I've been in the RV industry. It's not just the kitchen, it's the dining table, the bathroom, even the little outside kitchen surfaces that we'll see later. Everything in this has a sealed edge to it, so if you spill a drink, you can just wipe it down, no biggie deal. You'll also find that storage is another thing that not just Catalina, but really Coachmen as a whole is good. I see, whether it's our Catalinas here, our Freedom Expresses, our Apexes, all the Coachmen RVs that we have here at Haylet RV, they're always very cognizant of plentiful, easy access storage space. And this is just kind of a little sampling of that, like an appetizer. We're going to see a ton more of it as we go through. But first, want to take a look at the fact that we've got a, with a 6'9" interior ceiling, we have a taller shower that a bigger person like me can more comfortably fit in. And that's one of the things actually I like about the Jayco J-Flight that I tend to camp in. They're 6'9" tall, but this Catalina is the exact same thing. So I don't have to have my head in the bubble of this Catalina. I can stand here, I can bathe, I can be comfortable. Now don't get me wrong. If I had to duck, you're only ducking for like 8 minutes. It's not that big a deal. But I do prefer not to, and I don't have to in this Catalina, so it's one of the things that I enjoy about it. Now, as we come back here to the bunk area, I do want to point out the fact that we do have a hard sliding closed bunkhouse privacy door, so that you're not dealing with just a curtain. You actually have a room. You have a bunk room back here, and that's what's cool about this one. A lot of people like floor plans like the 321 bunkhouse Catalina, which is a 2-slide. It has a private bunk room like this, but it has a second slide out. Trick is, it's longer, it's heavier, it's more expensive. But you don't really lose anything in this one because of the way they arrange this bunkhouse. So, first of all, we have tons of windows in this bunk room. Let's acknowledge that. Additionally, they all open for airflow. And that is a little shortcoming point that I see a lot of brands fall prey to. Also, you see this extra bunk down here. They use a low-profile camp kitchen versus a full-size camp kitchen, and there's benefits both ways, but the low-pro camp kitchen means that we get that extra bunk space. So if you're looking, you've got 3 dedicated bunks, which is what a lot of camp kitchen RVs have. But what you may not realize is that you have 1 or 2 more additional potential sleeping spaces down here. We'll look at those in just a second, but while we're talking about sleeping, first of all, remember how I said this is a good adult-sized or big kids sleeping RV? I wasn't joking. I didn't mean just the hide-a-bed. I didn't mean the dinette. You don't have to use those to make this big person friendly. Because if you're looking, you've got one 8-foot wide, long, whatever you want to call it, tall bunk back here. You've got a huge bunk. You've also got, I like how you've got the little device charging station back here. But with the handy little Catalina converter cube system, you can make this thing like a gaming chair, a lounge, a sofa, or you could open it up into 1 or 2 beds that, once again, could work very well for people big or small. So if you want to, you could fold one or both of these open, and this is what I mean by the fact that this is what's called a quad bunk camper, but it has sleeping for 5. You have 2 down there, you have 1 over here, and then 2 more up top. So it's a whole ton of sleeping capacity, all wrapped up into only 6,700 pounds, something that's half-ton towable. But that's not all this bunk room has to offer. Remember how I talked about Coachmen being really good at storage? You see that trend right here in the bunk room. You've got dedicated dresser space. You've got dedicated hanging closet space, which is something a lot of bunkhouses tend to like, especially this size. And if you want to, you could set the kids up with their own little entertainment station there. So whether it's just TV, gaming, or whatever, you could have a handy little rainy day entertainment space to keep them from driving you nuts. And as long as we're talking about sleeping, let's jump back to the super slide sleeper seating that we talked about previously. It begins over here with what I like to call a true U dinette, 7 foot long basically, and about 44 inches deep, meaning, again, very adult-sized and friendly. And that larger upgraded trifold sleeper sofa right there, yet again, a large kid and or adult-sized sleeping space. So if your kids have big friends and they want to have a big old camping pizza party, and you're crazy enough to allow that, this RV could accommodate everybody. And in case you were wondering, no, that is not a neck wrecker entertainment center, because as you can see, the TV pivots away from that beautifully accented wall. We'll see that same accent reused up in the bedroom to kind of help tie the rooms together. TV pivots right out to face you. TV is a standard item on a Legacy series. Down below, you have a DVD Bluetooth stereo. That's pretty common fare for the RV industry. But what's nice is over here, they're actually leaving you an HDMI plug so that if you do have some sort of high-def device you feel like plugging in here, and oh, you can see my unfortunately chubby reflection there in that TV. I guess we polished it up very nicely. But the point is, you can expand the entertainment center. It's good, it's functional as it is, but you can go a little bit crazy with it if you're so inclined. And once again, that trend of great storage capacity rears its beautiful little head. Being taller, they have the ability, and they exercise that ability, to make larger overhead cabinets. That is all pocket screwed cabinetry, by the way. This isn't stapled particle board. The way you can tell that, if you're not aware, by the way, this is called the cabinet style. Reach back here and feel. If you can feel where there's like a divot, a groove, that's because there's a screw holding that together, not a staple. There you go, now you know. Also, matching hardwood cabinet door frames there, so you really get some good prep space. Now, below that kitchen breeze window, you've got a big farm sink, but notice that you have a set of flush mount sink covers that you can utilize there as well. So that, in conjunction with that stovetop, gives us a pretty healthy amount of prep space. Legacy series gets upgraded kitchen hardware like high-rise sprayer sink faucet versus the Summit series, but you see that pop-up power tower right there with a set of household and USB plugs, making appliance reaching easily. Plywood drawers down to the floor, a little kind of pantry, well, like entertainment mini pantry on the left, a little generic storage below that electric space heating fireplace, so that you don't have to burn up your propane to get a little bit of extra heat in the RV. You have an electric heater built right into this beauty, and obviously, as you can see, we have a completely private front bedroom for mom, dad, grandpa, and grandma, aunt and uncle, whoever happen to own this thing. And up in that private front bedroom, one of the things I like that they're doing here is there's easy reach lights right there above that overhead cabinet. But what's nice, it's just like in the living room. There's a switch for the main overhead light, so you don't have to climb on the bed to reach it. Notice that we have a full overhead cabinet, not just a shelf. Far, far more useful. You can put stuff on the shelf when you reach your destination, but it's not going to travel there. You can pack a cabinet full, and it'll be ready and waiting for you when you get there. Just like the entertainment wall, we have that beautifully accented headboard area above the bed. Also, both sides of the RV have these wide open side stands with both household and USB plugs. And across from the bed, I do that all the time, bed, naturally, we have TV hookups. And with this being a conventionally constructed trailer, there's studs all over the place that are very easy to tap into and mount a big old TV here on the wall if you're so inclined. Now, if we magically teleport ourselves magic school bus style under that bed, we see a large pass-through with big, easy access doors on both sides of the RV. We also have a quick, easy spot here to take a look at those upgraded stable steps that you have the ability to put on a Catalina RV. That is something that we've found a lot of people really like. We tend to do it pretty much across the board here at Haylet RV, and what's really nice, especially in a bunkhouse like this, when you've got kids coming and going, flying in and out of this thing and romping around jacked up on the marshmallows and the Mountain Dew, it just keeps the whole trailer from making you motion sick. You know, there's a lot of people I've talked to that are very sensitive and susceptible to motion like that, and those stable steps cut a ton of that out of there. Of course, we have power awning, power tongue jack. We'll talk a little bit more about the awning when we get back closer to it on the other side. But a couple neat things over here. If it's optional to enclose the underbelly on the Catalina Summit More Basic series, but up here on the Legacy series, you'll see that it has an enclosed belly standard to give us that extra protection, whether it's from critters, debris, etc. You get the idea. But there's another kind of easily missed thing I like to zero in on these Catalinas. First of all, they have a really rough textured seal gripping slide wall, and if I can manage to get my not good left hand over here, you can see that it actually has dual seals, dual wiper seals, plus an interior and or exterior bulb seal in contact. So the slide has at least 2 points of contact, if not 3, making sure you're not experiencing water penetration. And the rough textured slide walls here make sure those wiper seals do their job. Also, this is a little thing, but it's the little things that separate RV brands. The thing that I tell people very often is these RVs are like 97% the same. So what is the 3% DNA that you're shopping for? And little use features like this, it's the touches. I keep saying that. It's the touches where Catalina really excels. They put the cleat for that outside shower handle up high instead of built right onto the outside shower door. You see that little track? That's where most brands have it. Catalina moves it so that if it actually needs to be used as a quick rinse, hands-free outside shower with both hot and cold water, it can be used as such. And that's just, again, one of those little difference features. We have a fully walkable roof, 3/8 roof decking, 16-inch on-center studs all the way around, and a 5/8 tug and groove plywood floor deck. We also have backup camera prep here, so should you choose to add a camera to the RV, that's the kind of thing we can assist you with here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. And if a spare tire is optional, we make sure we include it 10 times out of 10 at our facility here. I hope dearly you never need to use that spare tire, but I'm going to make sure that you have one. In the event that that dark cloud rolls in, you'll have a little silver lining to it. Now, part of the reason that they're able to get that extra body here, that extra bunk, is because of their low-profile camp kitchen that they use. And it's very effective. It's very similar to Jayco's in a lot of ways. And it's kind of funny. The J-Flights and the Catalinas, they're not clones. They're not sisters, and they are diametrically opposed to one another from a business standpoint. We just happen to carry them both here at Haylett RV. But they both do a lot of the things that really matter really well. I like that the whole countertop slides open to you. You don't have to go digging for it. Additionally, I like that if you're not grilling here at the Catalina, since it's a free-floating Coleman camp grill, you can get it out of the way. Just be like, move, grill, get out the way. But just like inside, we have the same sealed edge countertop out here that you would have seen in the kitchen, in the bathroom, on the dining table. They use this consistently. Also, we got the handy Barley Popinator 3700 series to crack open those bottles of carbonated bottled barley water. Anyway, also, remember, you always have at least a 7 cubic foot fridge in this RV, plus you have the little kind of 2 cubic foot dorm fridge outside. Well, remember that we have upgraded this to that 10.7 cubic foot fridge inside, plus the fridge outside. Gives this what you call starter class family bunkhouse camper the cold storage capacity of a luxury fifth wheel. Pretty darn good. Now you can keep the kids tied down, or you know what else? These aren't just good for the pets, and that's what I mean by kids, the four-legged kids, because, you know, everybody, it doesn't matter. Anyway, you get the point. You can use this for more than just the dogs and the cats and the kids. You can tie things like your chairs, bicycles, etc. to it to make sure that maybe the wind doesn't blow them away, or they don't go kind of walking themselves down the campsites, you know, when you're away. You ever come back to your campsite and your bicycle's been moved? I've had that happen. Makes you think, makes you wonder. Little thing like that just helps sometimes keep an honest person honest. So it's obviously they're intended for pets, but it could be a neat little security thing. Now, another of my favorite little Catalina features is this aluminum fender trim. And I love it because I can't tell you the number of times in this business I've had a customer have a piece of plastic fender trim get hit by a lawnmower, or the wind buffeted it and it shook loose and broke in transit, or the sun made it brittle. That is never, never going to happen here. It's as close to failure-proof and foolproof as anything can get. Now, you can see that we have outside TV hookups right here, and next to that we have our larger entry handle. But one of the other more recent updates on this Catalina series is they kind of broke the Coachmen mold. Most Coachmens do not have that anti-slam entry door that you saw demonstrated right there. Now, a quick note on these windows. They are super, super tinted. So even though we could see outside of them very easily, you can't just peek inside. Somebody has to, basically you have to get right up here and effectively push your nose against the glass to be able to see anything inside. And even then, you can't really see well. Now, one more little update. You see this little attachment on the awning. It's a Dometic power channel. The RV comes with a light that you can hook up out here. So in addition to the lighting that you already have going on under that power awning, you also now have a very directional, you can control exactly where it's flooding light to, built right into your awning area right here. Because what's cool, being able to control that, you can make sure that you're not blinding the neighbors, and nobody likes a cheesed off neighbor at a campsite. An interesting light, outside lights, and too much noise. Those are the two most common complaints at campgrounds to the the park cop, basically. So being able to control that light and not blind the neighbors, it's not just a gimmick feature. It's every single night you could use that. And that's the things I like on a Catalina. The stuff you're going to use, see, feel, touch, and need every single day. That's where they focus. Little fluffy preferential things, they just don't do a lot of that. They do what matters, and they expect that you're probably going to spend some time outside the rest of the time, you know. It's camping, man. And that's who these guys are. It's nice camping, but it's camping. It's simple, straightforward, executed well, reliable. And that is a key thing, reliable. We have seen excellent service records so far out of our Catalina RVs. They're a more recent addition to our lineup at the time of this filming, but they keep building stuff the way they've been building. It ain't going nowhere. They are going to stay here till death do us part. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.